The golden light of morning spilled through the tall windows of the Silver Fork, an elegant restaurant where polished cutlery sparkled and soft jazz filled the air. To the average guest, everything looked perfect, the kind of place where success whispered through every detail. But Daniel Hol saw something no one else did. Sitting quietly in the corner, dressed in a plain gray suit, he watched the servers rush from table to table. Their smiles looked forced, their laughter thin. Daniel wasn't just another customer, he was the founder and CEO of the Silver Fork, but no one here knew that. He had come undercover, hoping to find out why the restaurant that once stood for kindness now felt cold. Then he noticed her. A young waitress at the service counter, her hands trembling as she balanced a tray. Her name tag read Emma. She looked exhausted, not just tired from work, but worn down by something heavier. Her eyes were red, her voice soft, every welcome to Silver Fork sounding like it cost her strength she didn't have. Her manager, Victor, barked orders from across the room, his tone sharp and condescending. When Emma accidentally dropped a napkin, he snapped. "Pick it up faster, Emma. We don't pay you to move like a snail." The nearby customers went quiet. Emma whispered a small apology and did as told, her cheeks burning with humiliation. Daniel's jaw tightened. The restaurant he built had always been about people, every worker mattered. But watching this, he realized somewhere along the way that message had been lost. That evening, as the rush died down, a loud crash shattered the quiet. A glass of wine slipped from Emma's hand and shattered across the floor. Victor's voice thundered. "Can't you do anything right?" He yelled, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You're useless." Emma froze, shaking. Tears welled in her eyes as she bent to pick up the shards with her bare hands. Blood dotted her fingers, but she kept cleaning. No one helped. Not even her co-workers. They were too afraid. Daniel wanted to intervene right there, but he stopped himself. He needed to see how deep this rot went. After closing, he followed her discreetly down the hall, hearing faint sobs behind the restroom door. He knocked gently, but she didn't answer. Inside, he could hear her crying, the sound of someone breaking quietly. Through the crack beneath the door, he saw her shadow trembling. In her hands, she clutched a wrinkled hospital envelope. The next morning, Daniel arrived early. Emma was already there, wiping tables before anyone else. When her break came, she slipped out the back door and sat on the steps, staring at the same envelope. Daniel approached and sat a few feet away. "You okay?" he asked softly. Emma hesitated, then nodded. "I'm fine," but her voice broke halfway through. He smiled gently. "You don't look fine." Something about his kindness made her finally speak. Tears welled up again as she told him the truth about her mother, who was in the hospital battling a rare illness, about her father, who had walked out, about how she worked double shifts, sending every dollar to pay for her mother's treatment. And now the doctors needed money for an urgent surgery, money she didn't have. Daniel's heart ached. "And your manager?" he asked quietly. Her lips trembled. "He cut my hours. Said I wasn't focused enough. I can't lose this job too." For the first time in years, Daniel Hol felt ashamed of his own company. The business he had built for compassion had become a machine that crushed people like her. That night, he went home and didn't sleep. The next morning, he summoned all branch managers to headquarters. The room was tense when the meeting began. Victor stood among them, clueless about what was coming. Then Daniel entered, no disguise this time. He played the restaurant security footage on the screen, Emma being yelled at, staff working like ghosts. The silence afterward was deafening. When Daniel asked quietly, "Did we forget that our employees are people, not numbers?" No one answered. Victor tried to defend himself, but Daniel raised a hand. "You don't speak to people like that." "Not in my company." Victor was dismissed that very day. That afternoon, Daniel returned to the restaurant. When Emma saw him, her face went pale. She thought she was about to be fired. Instead, Daniel smiled warmly and handed her a small white envelope. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a letter confirming a fully paid medical grant for her mother's surgery, along with a note written in Daniel's own handwriting. "For those who carry the world on their shoulders, you deserve someone to carry you too." Tears streamed down Emma's cheeks as the staff applauded around her. For the first time, she didn't hide her emotions. She thanked him through her sobs, and Daniel simply said, "You reminded me what this company was meant to be." Weeks later, Emma's mother recovered successfully. Emma continued to work at the Silver Fork, but the place had changed, warmth had returned. Smiles were genuine again. The silver fork became known not just for its food, but for its heart. And sometimes late at night, Daniel would look out his office window and think of that trembling waitress who reminded him that real success isn't measured by profits, but by kindness. Because sometimes one act of compassion is enough to change everything.